Hello and welcome to the Downsized. This is a special report. Lorraine and I wanted to take a few moments and do a reaction video for the Eli Lilly open letter, which came out on Thursday. The open letter, which you see here on screen, was, let's see, about 6 or 7 pages. We won't read every bit of it, but we're certainly going to respond to a good portion of it. We've pulled out some kind of bullet points and some conversation points about it. But before we do, let us tell you a little bit more about the channel. Do you want to tell them about the Downsized if they've never watched?
Hi, welcome to our channel. We are the Downsized. I'm Lorraine Durham, and this is Christopher Durham. We're a husband and wife that combined have lost over 115 pounds on compounded Tirzepatide, Mounjaro, and Zepbound.
And honestly, to be completely transparent, we have taken compounded Tirzepatide. I have taken branded Zepbound made by Eli Lilly. I have taken branded Mounjaro made by Eli Lilly. I believe the efficacy of all three are exactly the same. Pricing is different, administration is different, but to me that there was no actual efficacy difference. We have no sponsors for this. We haven't spoken to Eli Lilly. We don't have any inside information. This is simply our reaction to the letter that they introduced on Thursday.
And also, we're not doctors or healthcare professionals. For more information, always contact your doctor or healthcare professional.
Absolutely. So let me start out by just reading you the introduction. Lilly is committed to making life better for people living with diabetes and obesity through developing medicines that change the way healthcare providers can treat these diseases. The development and approvals of Mounjaro and Zepbound demonstrate our continued commitment to this mission. We are guided every day by our founder, Colonel Eli Lilly. I didn't know Eli Lilly was a colonel. That's cool. Saying when over 100 years ago, he affixed his signature as a logo to our medicines. If it bears a red lily, it's right. Bravo. Okay. We're with you there. They go on, for those reasons and for the safety of the patients we serve, we wish to respond to certain practices we are seeing from others related to our Tirzepatide medications, Mounjaro and Zepbound, to ensure they are prescribed, obtained, and used safely and appropriately. And we're all in for safe and appropriate. They start out, and feel free to comment as you see, Mounjaro and Zepbound are indicated for the treatment of serious diseases. They are not approved for and should not be used for cosmetic weight loss.
If you're someone with 5 pounds to lose, these medicines are not for you. If you're someone with 30 pounds or more to lose, you probably would want to check these out and ask your doctor about them. Eli Lilly wants to make sure that people are not using these as a quick 5 or 10 pound fix.
It's a medical solution. Talk to your doctor, and if the doctor is willing to prescribe it because there's an actual medical reason, then it's not a cosmetic reason. I think the challenge of a lot of this conversation is it's so much been driven by social media and TikTok and Instagram and the rumors of Hollywood stars losing weight with Ozempic or Mounjaro to get apart. They go on to say, and we've pulled out bullet points, so I'll put a link in the description to the entire letter if you want to read it. We're just hitting the high points. The FDA has not approved Mounjaro and Zepbound only for the use in 18 years of age or older, so it's not approved for kids.
Right. Under the age of 18, Wegovy is approved for ages 12 and up, which is a different company.
They go on to say Lilly's Mounjaro and Zepbound are the only FDA-approved Tirzepatide medicines. Lilly is the only lawful supplier of FDA-approved Tirzepatide medicines and does not provide Tirzepatide, which is the active ingredient in Mounjaro and Zepbound, to compounding pharmacies, med spas, wellness centers, online retailers, or other manufacturers. Lilly does not know where compounding pharmacies or other sellers are obtaining the Tirzepatide active ingredient they are selling. So you'll notice the red boxes are our thoughts. They should absolutely say this. We agree with what they're saying. It's really, the challenge is it's only part of the story. Compounding pharmacies are not regulated by the FDA. Absolutely true. Compounding pharmacies are actually regulated by the state regulatory body. So if you're in Florida and you're buying from Hallandale like we are, they're regulated by the Florida state commissions there. They also are generally members of the Pharmacy Compounding Accreditation Boards. They can be both state regulated and accredited. Lilly's giving you a part of the story because it's the story they want to tell, but it's not the complete story.
Obviously, Eli Lilly wants you to buy Tirzepatide from them via Mounjaro or Zepbound. It's been hard to find. It's been expensive if you're not covered by insurance. I've personally use a compounding pharmacy through an online provider called Mochi Health.
We're not sponsored by Mochi
We're not
Health
sponsored.
either.
No, we're not. That's just what I've done personally. We've taken now 35 shots, 36 shots. We're on 36th week. Lilly could make a medicine that I could afford. I would gladly purchase it.
And we'll talk about that a little bit more. So let's continue, and I've added some more notes. The FDA has designated 503A compounding pharmacies, and people ask us about compounding pharmacies all the time, as they compound according to prescriptions specific to particular patients and are required by state boards of pharmacy to comply with USP and other guidelines. So there is regulation there. The FDA has designated 503B compounding pharmacies as those with outsourcing facilities that may manufacture large batches with or without prescriptions to be sold to healthcare facilities for office use only. 503B compounding pharmacies must validate every process according to the CGMP. And 503A pharmacies must comply with USP 795 and 797, along with State Board of Pharmacy regulations, and perform environmental monitoring every 6 months. Beyond use dating, BUD may be assigned based on the internal and external scientific literature showing stability. 503B pharmacies must comply with USP 795 and 797, along with state boards of pharmacy regulation and 21 CFR Part 210 and 211 CGMP, among several other regulations and guidelines. No, the FDA does not regulate the compounding pharmacies, but they are regulated in other ways through both state and accreditation. I'll leave a link for that. You can see the FDA link there. Lilly went on to say they will continue to pursue legal remedies against those who falsely claim their products are Mounjaro, Zepbound, or FDA-approved Tirzepatide, including certain med spas, wellness centers, online retailers, and compounding pharmacies. So they're conflating some things there. So they are 100% right on the med spas and wellness centers and some of the online retailers who are honestly selling fake drugs. They're pretending that what they're selling is branded Zepbound or Mounjaro. Shouldn't be doing that at all.
So med spas cannot sell Mounjaro or Zepbound. You can only get Mounjaro or Zepbound through a pharmacy like CVS or Walgreens or someplace like that. So if you go to a med spa and they tell you they're selling you Zepbound, they're not.
They're not. And worry about what's in
They're
it,
not.
because Lilly will go on and say this in a minute, but you don't know what they're selling at you, and it could be dangerous, and there's issues, and we've reported on them a number of times. Lilly also strongly supports state and federal regulators and law enforcement taking action against those who put patients at risk by selling unsafe or fake products claiming to be Tirzepatide. Know where your prescriptions are coming from. First of all, you should see a doctor. It should be a prescription. If you're buying it from some guy on Facebook, some guy from China, whatever, don't do it. They go on to talk about unsafe online posts, videos, and ads put people at risk. So they say it straight up. Lilly never sells Mounjaro or Zepbound on social media. Illegal online pharmacies sell substandard and falsified versions of incretin medications and put people at risk. So they're not actually talking about the state-regulated compounding pharmacies in this instance. They're talking about fly-by-night pharmacies. You don't know where it came from. They're just popping up. They go on to say people should never put products labeled research purposes only or not for human consumption into their bodies. I'm not sure why we have to say that or why they have to say that, but people are always looking for something cheap.
Yeah, and I've seen these ads on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram. I've had people direct message me, reach out to me, say, hey, do you want to buy these powdered peptides? You can mix them up yourself. And they might say for research purposes only on the front, but it's okay. It's not okay.
And they're not always powdered. Sometimes they're in vial form. So
Yeah.
just be very careful. Know where your medication's coming from. They go on to say, and we agree absolutely with them, social media is not a replacement for a healthcare professional. We are not a replacement for a healthcare professional. Have a local doctor that helps you manage your healthcare on a daily basis, a weekly basis, whatever's appropriate to your needs. Here's where they start to get into it even deeper. Non-Lilly Tirzepatide can put people at risk. Any products marketed as Tirzepatide as opposed to Mounjaro and Zepbound were not made by, studied by, or sold by Lilly and are not FDA approved. True. All of those things are absolutely true. Doesn't mean they're fake. Doesn't mean they're not the real ingredients. So again, compounding pharmacies can make these things. It's perfectly legal as long as they're following state regulatory boards and their accreditations. It's a safe product.
So compounding pharmacies can make compounded tirzepatide and sell it as such, compounded tirzepatide. They cannot say this is Mounjaro. They cannot say this is Zepbound. They're also not FDA approved. So compounding are regulated by the state. So each state has its own governing bodies for compounding pharmacies. Compounding pharmacies have been around a long time. This isn't a new development, but Lilly wants you to know that compounded tirzepatide is not made by Eli Lilly.
It's not made by them. Compounded pharmacies have been around, honestly, since the beginning of the pharmacy. And if you've ever had a child or a pet or somebody that needed something specific, that they were allergic to an ingredient, you could go to your local compounding pharmacy and they would mix it up and make it easier to take. A lot of times kids can't take a pill and they don't actually make it in a liquid form. So a compounding pharmacy can do that for you and add flavoring and vitamins and whatever else is you need. So you see a lot of the compounding pharmacies are adjusting things for allergies. They're adding flavors, B12, you name it, to it. So it creates different things. And in times of shortage, they're allowed to do that. Does Eli Lilly like it? No, they clearly do not like it, and they would prefer to maintain all of that business, but it is legal and it is regulated. The FDA, they go on to say, recognizes that compounded drugs pose a higher risk than FDA-approved medications. Although compounding is permitted in limited circumstances for individual patients' needs, people should understand that compounded drugs are never FDA-approved. It's like saying beer has no cholesterol in it. No kidding. The compounding pharmacies are not regulated by the FDA. This is just the law. It's not a surprise. Beer is also fat-free. You can make that claim. Does it matter? No, it actually doesn't matter. Compounding pharmacies are state regulated. Compounded versions of tirzepatide can put people at risk. This is where it gets fun, right? They're going to really go after the compounding. They want to maintain their market share. Certain online pharmacies are now advertising compounded pills under the tongue, nasal spray, and other oral versions of tirzepatide. It is important to understand that the FDA has only approved administration of tirzepatide via under the skin injection. No regulator has evaluated the safety or effectiveness of any oral or nasal administration of tirzepatide.
There's no oral tirzepatide that's approved by anyone.
And we do not encourage it. I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't try it.
I've seen people advertising it online. It is not tirzepatide. If it is, it's something that they made up, and
it's not been tested, and you don't know what's going to happen with it. And honestly, if you're trying to save money, it's not cheap enough to be worth the risk. It is not that much cheaper. They go on to say online ads may be inaccurate, or misleading the potential health benefits of their products without disclosing any potential side effects or safety risks. These same online sellers may also be making claims that their non-injection tirzepatides are effective without any scientific support or testing to support those claims. If the online sellers are making these big, bold claims that have no backing in science, and then they're not telling you about risks, be worried about who's trying to sell you stuff. And again, the oral and the things, there's no basis.
It's not a thing. They're working on it.
Yeah.
The the drug companies are trying to make an oral version. It hasn't come out yet. It might be years away at this point.
Yeah, so, I mean, they're still in trials.
Yeah.
So again, be very careful. Online sellers of compounded tirzepatide also sometimes claim that their tirzepatide is manufactured in FDA-approved facilities. However, there is no such thing. That's what we've been saying, right? As an FDA-approved facility, and FDA regulations expressly prohibit anyone from making that claim, precisely because it's misleading and constitutes misbranding. The FDA does not approve facility. That's not their role in this. The state regulates the facilities. Again, our red box there, and I'll put the links down in the description. The Drug Quality and Security Act, the DQSA, which also added a new section on 503B to the FD&C Act, establishing a voluntary category of compounders known as outsourcing facilities. Outsourcing facilities are inspected by the FDA according to a risk-based schedule and must meet certain other conditions, such as reporting adverse events and providing the FDA with certain information about the products they compound. So most, if not all, of the larger compounders that you may have heard of are running large commercial facilities that the lines are automated, it's sterile, they're going above and beyond what's actually required of them by the regulation, because honestly, the volumes that they're working at require it. It's all automated, and you can see videos of the pieces. The 503As and the 503Bs are all playing very heavily here. Our thoughts here. So, first of all, closing it out, fake and counterfeit drugs are dangerous and illegal. Thoughts?
Check.
Check. Research grade drugs are not approved for human consumption. Don't buy them. Don't use them. Don't put yourself at risk.
Yeah, no.
Do not buy medications without a prescription.
Don't buy somebody else's prescription.
No. What's the next?
Do not buy medications from social media posts. Social media is not a replacement for your doctor.
Absolutely. Compounded drugs from state regulated reputable pharmacies are not fake drugs or research grade drugs. It's important to know that.
So what Hallandale Pharmacy is selling as compounded Tirzepatide is not a fake drug.
Correct.
They are not saying that it is anything other than compounded Tirzepatide. They have no ties to Eli Lilly. They don't get anything from Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly's not giving anything to them. Completely separate.
And we don't endorse Hallandale or any of the compounding pharmacies. There are a number of them out there that do really well. You can research them yourself. Please take a moment and take a look at who you're getting your medications from and make sure there's a prescription, a doctor, the whole 9 yards. So our thoughts for Lilly. Want to start?
Yeah. Hey, Eli Lilly, fix your supply chain problems. Right now, we're seeing a lot of 2.5 milligram Mounjaro and Zepbound coming back into pharmacies. A couple of the other doses we've been able to find here and there around town. But overall, it gets very stressful for people when they don't know if they can get the next month supply of their medication.
For me, and I've said it, if you've watched, I would much rather be using Zepbound and use the pen. I've got them here. Here's a Zepbound one.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a Mounjaro one. This is a significantly better experience. I honestly feel better about it than the vial and the needle. If you can keep your product in stock, always in stock for every patient that needs it, you'll automatically open the market up and it'll reduce. You'll get rid of some of those compounding because people will not have to go to compounding. So, part of it's on you, seriously. Number two, we know you're selling the medications overseas in Australia and other places in the vial. Please release it in the U.S. It would automatically make in stocks a lot easier, and we'd be happy to administer.
I don't know why they don't. Do they think Americans don't know how to use a vial and they sell it in the Australia and the UK, I think, with vials. Mm-hmm. So why not here? Are they just trying to price gouge us in the US? I don't know. Seems like.
So, and my piece of advice here is rational pricing that's designed to capture share and combat competitors. Your pricing today, depending on whether you have insurance or not and where you live, and the whole 9 yards can run anywhere from $25 to $1,500. There's some magical point where you are profitable and everybody can get the medication that they need, and you could take share by the millions. What do I think it is? I think it's $195 a month out of pocket. That's what I think.
It's still expensive.
Do I know your books? I absolutely do not know your books, so maybe I'm wrong.
And we've seen reports that say it costs $5 a month to make this medication, to make the actual medicine in the
whole
pen.
thing,
yeah.
The pen and everything.
And Eli Lilly is investing billions of dollars to build more factories.
Yeah,
to
and we absolutely want them to be able to continue to do that. So price it appropriately.
They know this is big. They're planning for this to be like the biggest thing ever. Just make it available for everyone.
Could grow beyond a measure. I can't even imagine the opportunities for you here. And we want you to succeed. I want to buy Zepbound every month. Today in an injector, tomorrow in a pill when you're ready for it, whatever it takes, because we believe that the disease of obesity will continue to need to be treated. It's not going to magically go away. And we think Eli Lilly should be an integral part of that. I applaud the open letter, honestly. You've conflated some of it and some of the valid concerns that you have.
They don't want people to get hurt.
Yeah.
They don't want anyone to buy something weird on TikTok and get hurt. So I appreciate that they're putting that out there. They're throwing some shade at compounding pharmacies, which whatever. That's
Well, but
they can
compounding
do
pharmacies
that.
are a valid part of our healthcare system, and they are regulated. They just completely they told the story they wanted to tell.
And they're in business to make money. So they're making a lot. They plan on making even more. If they're investing billions, how much do they think they're going to get out of that investment?
So absolutely. So we appreciate you guys taking the time. I'm Christopher Durham.
I'm Lorraine Durham.
Please take a moment and subscribe to make sure you get all of our content every day.
Join us Thursdays
Yeah.
at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We'll go live here on our YouTube channel, The Downsized. So we hope you can join us for that. We'll take questions from the audience and try to answer them as best we can. Again, we're not doctors. We give our opinion or what's worked for us. So always be sure to consult your healthcare professional for things specific to you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching.